All right, so I'm going to go in, and first thing I like to do when I'm simplifying, this is letter A. I like to flip my tiles up from the bottom. So if it was a positive on the bottom, it becomes a negative up top. If it was a negative on the bottom, it becomes a positive on the top. So I'm going to do that with all my tiles. This positive becomes a negative. So as a negative, so I'm going to make it a positive. Negative, I'm going to make it a positive. All right, now I have everything up top, and I would like to simplify. So I'm going to take off all my zero pairs. I like to line them up so I can keep track. And I am left with 3 on the left side. Now I'm going to take 0 pairs off the right side. And I'm left with 3 on the left side, or on the right side, which you can see now they're equal, but I could continue to simplify by taking off balance sets. So I could take 1 unit tile off of both sides, 1 unit tile off of both sides, and 1 unit tile off of both sides. So for letter A, they were equal. How do you know? Because when we flipped and we took our 0 pairs off and our balance sets, it was 0 equals 0. Okay. All right, going into letter B. Again, I like to flip very first thing. If you didn't want to, let's try just taking 0 pairs off first. So I'm going to, off the left side, take 0 pairs. So I'm just going to take all my 0 pairs off. And then I'm going to take one off the bottom of the left-hand side. And then there's one up top on the right-hand side. And there's one on the bottom. Oh, there's none on the bottom. Sorry. Okay, so now though, now if I flip, so I'm going to take this and I'm going to flip. And remember, all the negatives become positives on the top, or if it was positive on the bottom, it becomes negative. And if you notice now, I have more 0 pairs. So now I got to go back to taking 0 pairs, where if I had flipped first, I would see all these 0 pairs. Either way, it takes you to the same spot, but it's just a little more complicated. All right, I have my 0 pairs off. So the next thing is to take off balance sets. So I'm going to take a unit tile off the left and a unit tile off the right. And I can also take an X off the left and an X off the right, which leaves me 0 on the left side and 2 on the right side. So the right side is greater because 2 is bigger than 0. Okay. So the last question asked, how do we know that we can take 0 pairs off? Well, the reason that it's a legal move is because I can add 0 to anything and it doesn't change the value. If I put this back on here, this is still worth 2 because -1 plus 1 is 0, so it's still worth 2. So taking these off doesn't change the value. The reason that it's legal to move when I move something up to flip it is because this sign right here says negative. So this really says, if I have this down here, the opposite of 1. When I put it up here, this is another way to show the opposite of 1. So it's legal to flip things over that line because this down here says negative. The reason I can take balance sets off is if I have a 1 over here and a 1 over here, even though it changes the value, when I take 1 off of each side, it makes both of them 1 less. When I'm taking an X off of both sides, I'm making both sides less. So it's okay to do that because I'm changing both sides at the same time with equal values. Okay?